everyone, it's Moonlight Mason, and in this video I want to talk about how I actually saw, and many of you who watch Trisha Paytas, Jason Nash, or David Dobrik's videos also saw it as well, but you may not have seen it. But I want to talk about how I saw Trisha Paytas actually manipulate David Dobrik into doing something that he did not want to do. Keep watching. So in this particular video, they were doing a drive-through. It was a mukbang, and there was like David was driving, Trisha was in the front seat, and then I believe Zane was behind David, and I think it was Jason that was there. I believe there was 4 of them. I may be incorrect because they've done many of these drive-throughs. But in this particular one, if you do follow them or if you don't, I'm going to just give you a brief lowdown of what happened. David was driving, they went through a drive-through, they ordered, you know, they're doing their mukbang, they're doing a video, and they do it, and then I cannot say 100% it was Trisha's idea. It may have been someone else's idea. Let's go through again. Now David, who was driving, had just said that he had just eaten. And so he had said that a few times. Now they all got their food, they all ate, they all laughed, they all joked, they all did what they had to do for the video, and then someone came up with the idea of, let's go through again. And David was saying he knew what his boundary was. He knew what was best for him. Okay, so this is not against anyone. This isn't I'm not saying something bad about David. What I'm saying is we need to look at this as an example because it's so clear in our face. You don't see things the way I'm going to present it to you right now, which was manipulation by Trisha Paytas, peer pressure. If you don't, you probably didn't see that because you're viewing it differently. I don't know too much, honestly. I don't know too much about viewers who love watching mukbangs. I don't know what you guys are getting out of it. It does not matter because this video is nothing about that. They did what they had to do, and David tried to have his back. David tried many times to say, no, I don't want to do that. No, I shouldn't eat that. I might get sick. No, I can't do it. And then Trisha was putting pressure on him. Oh, you can do it. Come on, let's do it. We got to do it. And every time she would put the pressure, it would put David in the same place as it put Trisha in the other video that I did when she was by herself in her car and trying to decide, should I just go home or should I go by and get some cheesecake? Now I'm going to link that video again. Okay, I'm saying again, I'm going to link it up. I'm going to link it. I can't speak today. I'm sorry, you guys. But anyways, so David's trying to say no. He's got this pressure, which is like a manipulation. Okay, so what we're going to talk about here is we're going to talk about both sides. We're going to talk about the peer pressure being, or the manipulator being Trisha and the other people in the car who were encouraging, let's go do it again. Come on, we can do it again, right? And then we're going to talk about it from David's point of view, okay, and what happened to him. Now, if you remember in the other video, I talked about how if you don't have your own back, like if Trisha doesn't have her own back and she doesn't learn how to make the positive voice, the two voices, the negative and the positive in your own head, right? If you don't learn how to recognize the voice and understand that you need to take action instead of getting to that place where you're like kind of listening over here and then you're kind of going back to where you should be, and what you need to do for you to have your back, what you really need to do to take care of you. There's that part where in this video you see David saying, no, I don't want to do that. I cannot do that. But then Trisha would say, yes, you can. Come on, we got to do it just one more time. And then other people were saying, I want to get this and I want to try this and I want to do this. And he had already gotten his chicken burger or whatever it was that he ate, and he was full. And he said, no, I can't do it again. I'm going to get sick. But then someone would say something, and he was at that same place that Trisha was when I talked about in the other video. He would go like this. You know, you could actually see the mental pull. You know, you could see the peer pressure. So he finally, it's almost like, you know, it's like you give up. You give up to the peer pressure. You just like let everything go that you know is right. Let everything go that you know you shouldn't do or you should do. And you do something else that someone else is trying to convince you to do. This happens this happens all the time with Jason. I see Jason trying to really stick to his guns. I see Jason more than anyone talk about what his needs are. He's always telling Trisha, I don't want to drink. No, I don't want to eat this. I want this. He's voicing what he wants because he knows, I got to go to sleep. He goes, I got to go to sleep because I got to take care of my kids tomorrow. You don't have this. You don't have children. He's saying what his needs are. And then Trisha is manipulating him to where what I'm seeing and many of you are seeing is Jason actually gives in a lot to what she wants. So it's a lot of him giving to what she wants. And the same thing happened with David when he was in the car. So after they did the second drive-through mukbang that he did not want to participate in, and he got the burger, the second one that he shouldn't have eaten, he got it, and you even see him going like this. You know, you see it. You actually see the hesitation. You see the confusion. Even if you want to say you see God's work in action, because that's God's work saying, I love you, child. I know what's best for you. It's your higher power. It's the higher, your highest self that wants your best interest. If you look at it this way, you see it in action. But what does he do? He eats it. And then I don't know if he ate anything else. And then immediately after he eats it, he gets this reaction where he has to go running. Do you guys remember this video now? Where he ate and Jason and maybe even Trisha said, no, you can't run now. You just ate. You know, that's really bad for your stomach. But he had to go for a sprint because he had to get all of, it wasn't so much like, you know, I just ate this and I feel really full and, you know, I'm going to, you know, try to run some of this out, even though that's what it appears to be on the outside. Really, it was like, you know what, I did something to really hurt myself. I need to get out of the headspace that I'm in of guilt. I need to get out of this headspace of perhaps maybe a part of him saying, you know what, you did give in to the dark side. You were manipulated. You were manipulated. This is what manipulation looks like. Manipulation is when someone gets you to do something that you don't want to do. And you, this whole video is about you, giving you some tools that once you know, when you're going into a meeting, whatever it is, when you're going to talk to your spouse about something and you have your boundaries, you have your expectations, you know what's good for you. Alcohol, drugs, food, sex, whatever the case is, it doesn't matter. You have your boundaries and you're going in and saying, you know what? It's either A, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 12 to 5, or it's B, I'm not doing it. So you go in with that intention. Like when you go eat at a restaurant, or when you go consume alcohol, or when you go do drugs, whatever you do, you go in thinking, you know what? It's going to be A or it's going to be B. You go talk to your spouse and you say, you know what? We either go to counseling about you abusing me physically and mentally or emotionally, or B, I'm going to leave. And you know what happens a lot of times when that happens is you go in there A or B, but then the other person is manipulative. They know your weakness. They know, and so they start they start talking, and you're just like listening, and before you know it, you mentally, emotionally get carried away by their words. It takes you somewhere else where you may forget about A and B, completely forget about it, and you might even agree to C or D or E. Now, C, D, and E wasn't even in your focus. It wasn't even something that you wanted, but this person manipulated you to C, D, and E. And so then all of a sudden you find yourself in C, D, and E, and you feel bad. You feel guilty. You feel less than. It doesn't elevate your self-worth. It doesn't make you a happier person when you're not sticking to what you know you should be doing. That doesn't help you. What it does is it disintegrates your spirit, and it disintegrates more of who you are. And here's the thing, the more and more that you agree to C, D, E, and F, the more you are doing things that are not in your best interest or the best interest of your children or your pets or your lifestyle, whatever it is. The more you agree to do things that are not in your best interests, the less of you we get to see. The less of you get to share. Your talents, gifts, and abilities get lessened. You're less powerful. You're not powerful when you give away your power to someone else. So let's just talk about what would have happened, okay? What do you think would have happened? Because David was actually driving the car. So he was really in the driver's seat. What do you think would have happened if David would have said, you know what, you guys? No, I'm not going to do a drive-through. We can make that another video. And he would have just driven to their next location, or if he would have driven home or whatever, he was just drive out of there. What do you think would have happened? Well, first of all, he would have been uncomfortable. That would be a very uncomfortable thing to do. And we've talked about this in many other videos. In order for you to grow as a human, in order for you to accomplish your goals, in order for you to be happier, to lose weight, whatever the case may be, you are going to have to be uncomfortable. So that's number one. No, he would have been uncomfortable. Number two, expect these other people who have been manipulative and successful at being manipulative, expect them, woof, 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 expect to get some, okay? You're going to get it, okay? It could have come from the back seat. It would have, and you have to be so strong. You have to be such a strong person, because I'm going to tell you what, in an hour, in 2 hours, all these people would have forgotten about all this because they would have been into something else. And they would have forgotten that it even happened. And if they wouldn't have forgotten it and they would have kept woof, woof, woof down your back for you standing up for yourself, is that a friend? Is that someone that you really want to be with? Like Jason living with these, he wanted to live with a group of people of like-minded who are creators, right? So everyone's got their own gig on YouTube. Everyone is doing their editing. Everyone is kind of in the same place, which is like, you know, I'm a writer, so like going to a writer's group, everyone is writing. So this is a good thing. But when it does not, it's like, what if I joined a writer's group and all of a sudden everyone's doing crack? What am I going to do? Am I going to do crack because everyone else is doing crack? That's the danger of not having your back, of not being self-assured and not knowing what your boundaries are. Everyone must have boundaries. You have to write it down. I've often advised some of my clients to carry there's these little tiny notebooks, right? They're real tiny and they flip and they got little lines on them. You can always write when you're going into a meeting or you're going somewhere, what your intention is. My intention is A or B. Maybe you need to write it down and just open it to those two intentions when you're having this conversation with someone who can be manipulative and who can overshadow your true worth, because if they're not listening to you, if your word is not being honored by your friends, oh, you don't want to do this? Okay. You shouldn't even have to say that. If someone says no, it's so funny because Trisha Paytas once said in a video, she was saying this about sex and women and she was just trying to, tell people, women, she was trying to tell girls, if you say no, or trying to tell men, if a woman says no, it's no. Okay, that's what she was trying to say. I heard her say that before. It's the same thing when you're being manipulated. It's the same thing when you're being manipulated or someone is trying to put power over what's right for you. Is that person really your friend? Is that person really the best person for you as a partner? If your needs and wants that you're trying to communicate with them are not addressed, honored, respected. If you were my friend and I wanted to go, have green smoothies, let's just say I wanted to go have a green smoothie. That sounds like something I would want to do. And you said, you know what? I'm getting sick of green smoothies. I've had diarrhea for the last couple of days. I've had so many green smoothies. I don't want any green smoothies today. Do you think that I would try to convince you to have a green smoothie? Or would I just say, okay, what do you want? Do you want a 7-Up instead? Or, it's like so plain. But when we're in it, when we're in the minutia of especially a group, this is about peer pressure, you don't see it as clearly because you do want to be liked and you do want to be accepted and you do want those YouTube views and whatever the case may be that you want, you still need to honor your word. You need to have your own back, David. You need to listen to what you want, Jason. You need to do what's best for you. Trisha's not going to leave you. Trisha don't have nowhere to go. Trisha will not leave your asses if you tell her, I don't want to do a mukbang today. Jason, if you tell Trisha, I don't want to drink for the next 2 weeks, the girl will not leave you. She'll be thrown off a little bit because anytime people who are manipulative, anytime that they don't get what they want, they get thrown off. They get off their rocker. Things aren't well with them. They're going like this a little bit, right? But they'll find their balance, especially if you love them and you can help them realize what they're doing. You open the communication and you go, you know what? You know what, hun? No, you need to support me in this. This is something that I want for me. I'd like that for you too. I'd love for you, Trisha, to eat healthier, but I can't force you. If this is what you want to do, go right ahead. But for me, this is what I want. And your word needs to be honored because you are so important. You're important. You came to this world for a reason. You may not know what it is yet, but there is a reason why you're here, and you have many skills, talents, and abilities that the world needs to see, and they're waiting for you to share them. And you cannot be you and share your skills, talents, and abilities, just like me. I couldn't be here sharing this video with you, right, if I was drunk. I couldn't be, I couldn't have the best lab results from being healthy, right, if I was eating obnoxiously a lot of food every day. I'm just saying, I could not be here giving you the best that I can give you if I was a drunk. That's not who I could be. And my concern is that most people that watch these videos are children. These are children. So their minds are very influenced, and they're choosing to watch these people. And guess what? I'm going to continue to speak my truth and let you know, young people, let you know, anyone who's watching me, because you can be 50 and still be young. You can be 50 and still be immature. You can be 80 and still be immature, right? Chronological age has no correlation to maturity. Chronological age has no correlation, you would hope that it does, but it really doesn't have a correlation to how self-assured you are and how you know what your boundaries are, you know what your skills, talents, and abilities are, and guess what? Ain't nothing, ain't nobody gonna stop you. That's one thing that I love that Tupac Shakur said. He said, they're gonna have to kill me. I'm gonna have to be dead before I stop talking about social justice. This is Moonlight Mason, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.